I told my mom I was staying at Marcy's house. In reality, I was half naked in a dusty motel room off Highway 9, trying not to cry while Derek Langston, my sponsor, my secret, my personal hell, unzipped his pants and whispered, "Smile for me, baby." I used to think I was too smart to get caught in something like this. You hear stories, right? Girls with fake lashes and overpriced nails saying some sponsor is helping them with rent. Code for they're selling their time and sometimes more. I used to laugh at that, thought I was better than that. I had plans, college, a marketing degree, a decent job one day. But life doesn't care about your plans when your car breaks down and you owe your college $2,400.00 before they'll let you register for the next semester, or when your mom's working double shifts at the diner and still can't keep the lights on, or when you're stuck eating ramen 3 times a day and praying your prepaid phone doesn't cut off before a job interview. That's where I was, desperate, broke, and scrolling late at night through a sketchy message board when I saw it. Looking for companionship, generous, discreet, no strings. I stared at that post for at least 20 minutes. I even laughed to myself. Then, I messaged him. I wish I could say I was drunk or joking or just curious. I wasn't. I was tired. I was done pretending I had it all together. He replied in less than 5 minutes. Said his name was Derek, that he was 45, lived about 30 minutes away, owned a logistics company, and was looking for someone sweet, open-minded, and reliable. The first thing I sent him was a selfie. The second thing I sent him was my Cash App. Derek Langston wasn't what I expected. When I pictured a man who paid women for attention, I imagined someone sleazy, someone with bad teeth and a ring of sweat around his collar. Derek looked put together, polished, tall with perfect posture and that kind of salt and pepper hair that women in rom-coms fall in love with. He picked me up in a black Mercedes the first night. "You must be Ava," he said with that smug little smile. "Even prettier than your pictures." I felt my stomach twist. Not from nerves. Well, okay, maybe a little. But mostly from shame. Because a part of me liked hearing that, liked the way he looked at me. Like I was expensive. He took me to dinner. Real linen napkins. Sparkling water in crystal glasses. I had to Google half the menu items under the table. The conversation was light, careful. He asked about my hobbies, my family, my dreams. I gave vague answers, painting myself as innocent but a little wild, just enough to be interesting. He smiled a lot, touched my hand across the table like it was some slow-burning romance. And when the check came, he handed the waiter a platinum card and looked at me like he owned me now. Later, he dropped me at the cheapest motel in town. I thought he'd try something right away, but he didn't. Not yet. Instead, he gave me an envelope. Inside, $600.00 in cash, a phone charger, a small box of chocolate-covered strawberries. "Tomorrow, I'll take you shopping," he said, adjusting his tie. "Wear something red." I stood in that motel room after he left, counting the money over and over. I had never held that much cash in my life. My stomach was tight, my throat dry. I didn't know what this made me, but I knew what it paid me. "I'm crashing at Marcy's for a few days," I told my mom over the phone, forcing a yawn to make it sound casual. "She just broke up with her boyfriend and she's a mess." My mom sighed. "That girl's always a mess." I kept my voice light. "Exactly why she needs me." She didn't ask questions. She never did. Every time Derek picked me up, I told my mom I was heading to class or volunteering or staying with my cousin. I had lies for every hour of the day. I became good at it, too good. It scared me sometimes how natural it felt. The days became a blur of gifts and touch. Derek didn't rush things. At first, he spoiled me, bought me a new phone, paid off my community college debt in full, even got me a monthly allowance. Just for being pretty, he joked. But I could feel the pressure building. The air around him was heavy with unspoken deals. The third night, it shifted. We were in that same motel room, I'd just finished changing into this silk slip he brought. Red, of course. And he was sitting on the edge of the bed, sipping scotch like we were in some noir movie. He didn't ask. He just stood, walked toward me slowly, and placed a hand on my waist. "You're beautiful, Ava." Then, with a soft push, he backed me against the wall and kissed me. It wasn't rough, but it wasn't gentle either. His hands moved down my sides, fingers pulling at the hem of the slip until they were under it, and I felt that familiar panic rise in my throat. I didn't stop him. I smiled instead, closed my eyes, pretended I was someone else. That night was the first time I slept with Derek, the beginning of what I told myself was survival. After that night, something changed in Derek. He got possessive, not in a romantic way, not the kind of jealous that means he cares. It was more territorial, like he'd bought something and wanted to make sure no one else touched it. He'd randomly send me texts like, "Where are you? You're not lying to me, right? Send me a pic, right now." Sometimes I'd be at Target buying toothpaste and I'd get a message telling me to turn around. He was watching. Once, I ignored his texts for 2 hours because I was taking a nap. He showed up at the motel, banging on the door like the world was ending. When I opened it, half asleep, he pushed past me and grabbed my face with both hands. "You don't disappear on me, ever." I laughed nervously, tried to joke. "It was just a nap." But he didn't let go. His grip got tighter. "Don't play me, Ava. I don't like being played." Then he kissed me, hard, like punishment, and I kissed him back. I hated myself for that. It was a Thursday when everything flipped. We were in his condo for the first time, sleek, cold, full of glass and mirrors. I remember thinking, this place is spotless, like it's never lived in. I was wearing the lingerie he picked out. He was drinking again, scotch, neat. "I ever tell you about my wife?" he asked. I blinked. That was new. "No." "She left me 6 years ago, took the kids, moved to Arizona, said I was emotionally manipulative." He laughed, bitter and sharp. "I gave her everything," he said, his voice rising. "Everything. And you know what she did?" I didn't answer. I couldn't breathe. "She told people I hit her, filed for a restraining order." "You believe that?" I nodded, barely. He downed the rest of his drink, then stood, slowly. "I've been real nice to you, Ava. Real generous." I nodded again. He walked closer, stood right in front of me, his breath hot with liquor. "But girls like you always get greedy." What are you talking about?" "You think I don't know you've been talking to someone else? That guy who texts you smiley faces. I saw it on your phone." I froze. "You go to the police, Ava. Say one wrong word. I have everything. Texts, pictures, videos, and I'll tell them you blackmailed me. Who do you think they'll believe?" I swallowed. My voice came out like a whisper. "I never—" "Shh," he said, placing a finger on my lips. "You're gonna keep smiling, keep showing up, and keep your mouth shut. Understand?" I nodded. "Say it. I understand." After that night, it got worse. He started recording us. I don't know when it began, maybe from the start. But one day he showed me a video on his phone. It was me, laughing in bed, wrapped in sheets, kissing him. It looked happy, but I remember crying before and after that. "I keep these for us," he said. "Memories." I knew what they really were. Leverage. Traps. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating, stopped going to class. My cousin Marcy started texting more. "Where have you been? You okay?" I kept ignoring her. One night, I almost told my mom everything. I had my phone in my hand, the number dialed, but I couldn't press call. What would I say? "Hi, Mom, I'm sleeping with a man twice my age for cash and now he's threatening to ruin my life?" Instead, I turned the lights off and curled up on the floor like a child. Everything started breaking the night I saw my own face on his burner phone. Not mine, in real time, a photo. I was snooping. That's the truth. He was in the shower, and I was sick of not knowing how much dirt he had on me. I didn't even plan it. I just saw his second phone on the counter and opened it. No password, just a bunch of folders named things like Red and Gym Girl and New Chick. I clicked on one. It was me. Not just me naked. Not just us. It was photos of me outside. Me pumping gas. Me laughing at a cafe. Me standing by a dumpster behind my apartment. Talking to a guy. The photo was timestamped just 2 days ago, and then I heard the water shut off. I dropped the phone and jumped back into bed, heart going 100 miles per hour. He came out like nothing happened, dried his hair, kissed me on the head. That night I couldn't sleep. I laid there, staring at the ceiling, trying not to hyperventilate. I wasn't his girlfriend. I wasn't even a girl to him. I was an obsession. I was a hostage, and somehow, I had let this happen. A week later, Marcy texted me something that made my stomach drop. "Is this the guy you're with?" Attached was a blurry picture, me, walking to Derek's black Lexus. He was holding the door for me. She must have followed me. I called her right away. "Marcy, I can explain. You said you were staying with me. Ava. He's twice your age. What the hell are you doing?" I didn't have an answer. She came over that night. She cried. I didn't. I'd run out of tears. "You're acting like this is fine," she said. "It's not." "Then leave." "I can't." She didn't understand. How could she? "He has things," I whispered. "Stuff he'll use if I go." She stared at me. "Is he hurting you?" I didn't answer, just looked down at my chipped nails and picked at the corner of one. She exhaled. "Ava, this isn't you."
2 days after that, I made the choice. I texted him that I was sick and couldn't come over. He texted back a thumbs up, no words. That scared me more than a threat. Around 10 p.m., I packed a bag and left the motel. I went to a friend's house, my friend Jamie, who I hadn't seen in months. She opened the door in her pajamas, confused and worried. I told her everything, every twisted, broken piece. She didn't interrupt, just listened. "You can stay here," she said. "We'll figure this out." I fell asleep for the first time in weeks without checking the window every 10 minutes. But peace is temporary. At 2:14 a.m., Jamie shook me awake. "There's a guy outside," she whispered. "He's just standing there." My blood turned to ice. We called the cops. By the time they got there, the man was gone. They took a report. We didn't sleep again. I decided to report him the next morning. I printed screenshots, wrote down every date, every time he sent money, every time he threatened me. When I got to the police station, the woman behind the glass smiled like I was renewing a driver's license. "Reason for visit? I need to report someone." Her smile faltered. "Okay, step this way." They took me to a small room. I told them everything. They nodded, took notes. And then one of the officers stepped out and came back in 5 minutes later. "Miss Bennett, there's something you should know." I stared at him. "Derek Lane was arrested last night. Not for you. For someone else. A minor." My stomach dropped. "He's being held without bail. He won't be bothering you again." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. They offered counseling, protection. I nodded. And then I left. It's been 4 months. I changed my number, moved in with Marcy, got a retail job. I stopped wearing the things he liked, stopped drinking the brand of water he used to buy. I even stopped eating the strawberries he used to hand feed me like some sugar daddy in a bad movie. But I still feel him. When someone brushes past me in a store, when my phone buzzes at night, when I catch myself staring at the mirror too long. Sometimes I ask myself, why didn't I leave sooner? Other times I ask, what if it had been me? What if I was the one who got him locked up because I wasn't? I walked away and someone else didn't. And now sometimes I wonder, did he tell them? Or did I? Because I still don't know who sent that photo to Marcy. And I still don't know how he always knew where I was. But I do know this: I lied about staying with my cousin. I slept with my sponsor. And the truth, it never stayed buried, not even for a second.